Alright, so 1-3, one of the harder levels in the game, probably like the second hardest level after 5-1. It's our first time going through it because there's a lot of things that only happen the first time you go through 1-3, and then once they're interacted with, it's different. So here there's some dogs. They're actually easier to deal with than dogs early in their game because you can aggro them one at a time, like I'm trying to do here. Then it's simply a matter of getting them to pounce and then killing them. Pretty simple. So now we'll take care of the other one. Now we'll cut to the trap that's up ahead. So the first time you get here, this trap will activate. Very simple, you can just go behind this wall. Nothing really much to say about that. And then you can continue. So the first time you get up to these guys, this cutscene will activate. And then they'll be hidden in this little side area. Just getting the gecko for the, I think he drops a chunk. Yeah, a chunk of hardstone. So, the first time you go over here, these enemies will break through this wall. Kind of dangerous because they're all bunched up, so I'm trying to lure them out. And I take a hit, so that's not good. So it'd probably be better to be more patient, really pull them out. Kind of like that. The R2s for this weapon, the longsword, are good for hitting multiple opponents like that. So there's two guys in here. It's pretty easy to wait for the other guy to go down the stairs and kill this guy by himself. And then sneak attack this guy when he gets up the stairs. Now we don't want to go down those stairs because there's an assassin down there. If you're wearing the thief ring like you should, and you go this way, he will not aggro you. So that makes that pretty easy. So now if we go up here, we can easily drop down to the next part of the level. That is over around this corner. Archer there. He's not much of a problem. Easy to run right by him. Getting that grass off my hotbar. Can't roll through this stuff because no roll. So now, the first time you get here, there's this boulder trap, but we can use it to our advantage. If you run up at that first opening and then run away, it will be timed just right so both of the assassins will get killed by the boulder trap. But don't worry too much about that because you can only do that once. If you die at this point, which I'm going to, you have to fight those assassins normally. So dealing with these three guys on a second playthrough of the level is actually easier than the first because they're facing the other way. So just by walking up on the side, you can aggro this one guy and then take him out by himself pretty easy. And then you can walk up and backstab this guy. And in my experience, if you backstab this guy, the third guy will never hit you. He'll attack, but you'll still be in invincibility, and then you can punish him for whiffing. So that's pretty simple. Now this section's a bit trickier. Be careful of this boulder with the fire on the corner here. It's got a pretty large... the hitbox is bigger than you'd think, so I cut that corner pretty tight. So taking care of this archer is no different than before. But after we kill him, we want to clear out this debris so we have room to move. And destroying this debris will aggro only one assassin, which is what we want. And he has a thief ring effect, so that's why I didn't see him at first. So we aggro just the one. And the strategy's pretty simple. We're just going to be running in a general direction away from him until he does an attack, he whiffs, and then we backstab and kill him. And then we just have to do that one more time for the other assassin. Clearing out my hotbar. So I'm just going to try to get his attention. I think you can also hit that corner of the staircase there, or you can walk in front of him like that. Both work. And the strategy is the same. I actually missed my backstab, but it's fine. If you're behind him when you hit him, he shouldn't be able to counterattack, but you don't want to attack him when he's facing you. Alright, so we're back over here. And around this corner, there is a Red-Eye Knight with the big two swords. Best way to deal with them is to bait out his attacks. And I don't think I do a very good job of it here, but we'll see. Yeah, I got hit there. That was me being greedy. That was just me being bad. You can bait him like that. For that follow-up, he eventually does that big overhand that leaves him vulnerable. Then you can punish him. You could probably just run around and backstab him at that point. That would probably be the simplest way to take care of him. Now for this part, the easiest way to deal with this part is to run through because there's no enemies directly blocking your path. And here I trying to aggro those guys around. Didn't really work. You don't need to do that. You could probably just run right by them. Now the first time you get here, this boulder trap's here. Normally you could roll past it, but no roll. So I drop down here and then run through again. This part's actually easier the second time through. And I kill this guy just so he can't chase me. And I'll see that again when the boulder trap's already down. So now we're back here again, and see if maybe we could deal with this guy a little better. And he did the overhand immediately, so I can punish that. That's the end of his follow-up. Being more patient this time because it takes a few hits to kill him if you don't get a backstab. And there we go. So that's the preferred method of doing it. So now we're going to run through this part again. And now that the boulder trap is down, because we've already done this once, it's much easier. And yeah, you can just run immediately through those guys. They're not quick enough to get you. And now that the boulder trap's down, we can just run right up. And it's probably safer to just hit the halberd guy just like that, because the halberd guys are fairly slow most of the time. Now this guy's right perfectly in the way, so I'm going to try to take care of him just like I did the last one. He didn't do his last follow-up there, so I punished him. It's a little riskier to do that, but it does work, as you see. So for these archers, they're not hard to deal with, but I find it easier to just run past them like this, because there's no other enemies on this side. Now for this part's a little tricky without roll, so I'm going to do a little tricky thing and land on this railing. Not necessary, but it is easier, because if that guy throws a firebomb like he just did, you can run right by them. The main reason I'm doing that is because if you fall down here, in that spot, there's enemies over there, and if you can't roll, the only way to cancel your recovery animation on landing is the backstep, and that's not very safe. Now that we've hit that switch, the level's effectively beaten, so you can just kill this fat minister if you want for the key item he drops. And yeah, that's the majority of 1-3 taken care of. So now we use the shortcut, and I'll show off what I found the most consistent way to get the penetrator. It's not an extremely quick way to do it, but it's the safest, because if you try to rush through without rolling or shielding, you're very likely to die by the red-eyed spearman. These two guys are pretty easy to deal with. Just bait this guy out, then just run up and kill this guy. These next two spearmen are kind of annoying. I tried to group them up and punish them at the same time, but it didn't quite work. And right there showing in my inventory that I have soul remains. That's going to be important coming up. Yeah, I tried to hit them real quick here at the same time, but one guy poked me just in time. So I'd probably want to do that differently next time, be more patient. So for this part up here, these first few enemies are easy to deal with. You just bait them out and punish them. If you have the thief ring on, you can pretty much hit them one at a time. And here I'm trying to throw my soul remains. Probably should have killed that guy first. And the thing I did not know yet is that if you haven't activated the cutscene for this part, the red spearman will not react to the soul remains. So that's why that didn't work right there. So you got to make sure you activate the cutscene before you do this. So eventually just kill this guy off. And now that the cutscene is activated, now the soul remains will work. And now I'll just take care of this guy and we'll be good to go with that. You can pretty much throw them everywhere. Once they run over and attack like that, it's really easy to run by. The only other thing that's there is the archers, and if you're running, they're not going to hit you. And that's 1-3. So hopefully I think we'll do Penetrator next.